So here are some nations that are eligible for the scheme. St. Lucia, Samoa, Seychelles, Pitcairn, Henderson, Ducie, and Oena Islands, Sierra Leone, Singapore, Solomon Islands, South Africa, South Georgia and South Sandwich Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Swaziland, Tanzania, the Bahamas, the Gambia, Tonga, Trinidad and Tobago, Uganda, Zambia, the Virgin Islands, Zimbabwe. There's also many other nations that I have not named, such as Ghana, Nigeria, Montserrat, and many others. To know whether your nation is eligible or not, please have a look on the government website where they have an extensive list of nations that do qualify for the scheme. The government website where a lot of the information in this presentation comes from is accessible for free, and I will give you the government website, so please do get your pens ready because you will need this website in order to be able to access the compensation application forms. This is the only place where you can download the forms for free. It's www.gov.uk/the, so THE hyphen a dash, so THE dash Windrush dash compensation dash scheme. So that's www.gov.uk/the dash Windrush dash compensation dash scheme. Who is eligible? So you can apply to the scheme if you have or have experienced either one of these. So you can apply if you've had losses because you could not prove your right to stay in the UK. You can apply if you've had losses because you are the partner, child, brother, sister, or parent, or other close relative of someone who could not prove their right to stay in the UK. You can apply to the scheme if you represent the estate of someone who has had losses because they could not prove their right to stay in the UK. And they are deceased, basically. So if you have family members that are no longer alive, but they did enter the UK before the 1st of January 1973, and you are their close family member, you can apply on their behalf. That does have a separate criteria, which I will explain later on in the presentation. You can also apply if one of the following statements are true. You came to the UK from a Commonwealth country before the 1st of January 1973. You can apply if your parents or grandparents came to the UK from a Commonwealth country before 1973. You can apply if you came to the UK from any country before the 31st of December 1988 and are now settled here. You will need to show that you have suffered losses because you could not prove your right to stay in the UK, or if you're like me and you're applying because your close family member couldn't prove their right to stay in the UK, then you will need to prove that you are, number one, related to them, and number two, that you have also suffered due to what your close family member has suffered in relation to the Windrush scandal. If you entered the UK before the 1st of January 1973, you will be classed as a primary claimant. So there are individual application forms. This is very important to listen to. So if you entered the UK before the 1st of January 1973, you're a primary claimant. You will only be eligible if you make an application on the primary claimant application. There's guidance as well as the application forms that are downloadable and printable for free from the government website, the website that I've just read out. So please do make sure that you're accessing the correct application form, because if you complete the incorrect application form, you'll be advised that you're not eligible, and that can mislead you to believe that you're not actually eligible for the compensation when in fact you're just not eligible under that category. If you are the child, brother, sister, partner, or otherwise a close family member to someone who entered the UK before the 1st of January 1973 and they're still here, then you can only apply on a close family member application. Again, if you apply on any other application, you will be advised that you are not eligible. There is a third application, and this is for our close family members who entered the UK before the 1st of January 1973, but are no longer with us, so they are deceased. This application form is called the Representative of an Estate application. Again, we'll go into the criteria later on in the presentation. If you are applying as a close family member, you must show that you have experienced a loss because a close family member could not prove that they had the right to live in the UK, or that their right to live in the UK was questioned by the Home Office. The family member must be your partner, parent, child, brother, or sister, or some of us may have lived with our cousins and, you know, the relationship was more like a sibling relationship. You can put things like that as well. There is a discretionary box on all of the forms, on all of the different applications for discretionary category. So maybe something that the application itself hasn't covered. And as I said, on the government website, there's the guidance. So as well as the application forms, make sure you're printing off the correct document. So if you're a primary claimant, look for the primary claimant application form and then the primary claimant guidance. Make sure that you read both of them and understand both of them so that when you're completing it, it's more kind of easier to complete. Because the application forms are quite lengthy. The primary application form is around 44 pages long. And the close family member application is a bit less. However, the information that you put in there can be quite heavy because you're going to be writing about your poor experiences that you've had, you know, from childhood throughout life, really. If you are under 18 and you think you could be eligible, then you will need a guardian to support you to be able to apply. If you are someone who entered the UK before the 1st of January 1973, then you can, of course, encourage your children and grandchildren to apply as well. But if they are over 18, you will need someone to apply on their behalf.